Returning to our top story, the Israeli military says it will suspend military activities in two parts of Gaza from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. daily for, quote, humanitarian purposes. The suspension will affect Rafah in southern Gaza and Deir el-Balah in central Gaza. A spokesperson for the Israel Defense Forces says the daily pause will run until March 7th. Our Paula Hancock is live in Abu Dhabi with more on the situation in Gaza. So, Paula, a significant development and a bit of a surprise. So first, do we know anything about how this came about?
Well, Kim, we do know that a fair bit of pressure was put on Israeli officials after that tragedy with the humanitarian aid trucks back on Thursday last week, when well over 100 people looking for aid were killed. Now, we do know, for example, the United States had been pushing the Israelis to open more crossings. At this point, we only have the Rafah crossing on the southern part of the Gaza border, which is not functioning at full capacity, and also the Kerem Shalom checkpoint, also in just in the southeastern corner, that has been blockaded by Israeli protesters who are calling for the hostages to be released. So very little is getting through that area as well. So we've heard from the Biden administration that more humanitarian aid needs to get in. They have called for more checkpoints, of which there are more further north along the border with Israel, that should be opened. And we are also seeing, according to the Israeli military, that they are coordinating with a number of countries to do airdrops in these two areas. So they've specified neighbourhoods from now until Thursday, as you say, in Rafah in the south, in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza, that they will be having this 4-hour window where airdrops will take place. And it just shows the desperation and the incapacity of being able to get to those who need aid by road on the ground, because we are seeing more and more of these airdrops now. They are imperfect, they are imprecise, they're not an ideal way to get aid to those on the ground, but it shows the desperation that this is now being considered, and President Biden saying that they expect to do their own airdrops very soon. Kim?
Yeah, and those have been criticized for not delivering enough, as you say, because it is just a drop in the bucket. The need beyond those two areas is still huge. The UN warning of basically mass starvation in the coming months if more isn't done. So what might this window at least mean for Palestinians in those two areas? And speak to the need beyond those two areas as well. How desperate is the situation?
Extremely desperate. I mean, we've been saying this for months now. NGOs have been highlighting this for months, saying that the humanitarian crisis that is unfolding in Gaza is extremely desperate. We've heard from the Ministry of Health in Gaza, which is run by Hamas. They say 10 children at this point have died from malnutrition and dehydration. We've heard from UNICEF warning that this number could rise because children are often the first hit and the worst hit by these kind of humanitarian crises. And we understand from the United Nations that this is now the worst case of child malnutrition in the entire world. Here in Gaza, what we are seeing right now is the worst that we will see in the world. They say that I think 1 in 6 of under 2s are severely malnourished at this point. So for these, to your question, Kim, for these two areas, they may be able to get more aid, which is desperately needed. That is obviously always going to be positive to get aid to the areas. It does then need to be dispersed to other areas. And we saw just last Thursday when more than 100 people died in that very chaotic aid distribution and an Israeli fire. That it is extremely difficult to try and disperse this aid elsewhere. There has to be cooperation from the Israeli military. NGOs, including the United Nations, have said that they have been fired upon by the Israeli military in the past, and they have not always been able to get through to where they need to. So this is one positive element in a situation that has no positives in it whatsoever. But of course it is, as many NGOs say, it is very little and it needs to continue. There needs to be a ceasefire so that humanitarian aid can get to those who need it.
Yeah, so one definite positive. I'm wondering about a possible positive here if Israel has, listened to the international pressure here. Does it signal anything, do you think, in terms of possibly a wider ceasefire and hostage deal being closer, which President Biden has been trying to help broker? Where do those negotiations stand?
Well, there were concerns that after what happened last Thursday with that loss of life, that this could derail the process for trying to secure this temporary ceasefire. We heard from a Hamas senior official saying that this is not an open process and this will play against trying to secure that ceasefire. Now, of course, the ceasefire is key to be able to try and get some of the hostages out of Gaza, to try and release Palestinian prisoners. But it is key because, of course, the fighting will stop, which is what most are calling for. But also that humanitarian aid will be able to get through in far greater numbers, in far more safety. But of course, you do still have the issue of the infrastructure having collapsed in Gaza. So there will still be huge difficulties to get that aid to those who need it. But of course, a ceasefire is key to be able to do that. Now, interestingly, we did hear from Biden administration officials saying that they believe what happened last Thursday may not have derailed the talks that have been ongoing to try and have this temporary ceasefire. Now, President Biden had said he believed Monday was a possibility. He's walked that back. In fact, many involved in the discussions distanced themselves from that timeline, thinking it was too soon. But there is still hope that this could happen. We've heard in coming days. But at this point, we don't have anything concrete. But we do know that the negotiations are still ongoing at this point.
All right, Paula Hancock, really appreciate getting your analysis on these new developments. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.